All right, let's begin then. And specialty coffee chain, that's abCoffee, they've recently raised $3.4 million in a Series A funding round that has been led by venture capital fund Nexus Venture Partners. Abhijeet Anand is the founder and CEO of abCoffee and now joins us on the show. Great to have you on board. Nexus Venture Partners, some marquee investors that have put down money. Tell us a little bit more about what you'll be using the funds for.
Thanks for asking, Avanne. This round is led by Nexus Venture Partners, and then our existing investors, Tanglin Venture Partners, also participated. So they doubled down on the initial investment. This particular round has happened in a very short span of time. We closed our seed in August, September, and then this eventually happened in October, November, and the final closure happened now. So the plan from here on is to invest in our technology stack and supply chain vertical integration. That would give us and will help us in building the core as we expand our outlets, which we call as decks across the country.
So essentially, it's these sort of grab and go outlets that the company has. How exactly does it work?
That's right, Avanne. So just to give you a perspective of who we are, right? So abCoffee is a tech-enabled specialty coffee grab-and-go company, right? So what we're building is that premium specialty coffee at prices that make sense to Indian pockets, brewed in a way that it's efficient and reaches your hands quickly. Because coffee, we believe, is an instant gratification or something that you need in the moment, and that's where the name in abCoffee comes from. So that's where we have positioned ourselves. So the way it works is that if you look at how Indian culture has been eventually, is that chai is a drink for the rest of the country, as like South Indian filter coffee is there in the South. And if you look at the chai joints in the country, this has been the social, the political, the economic, and a juncture where Indian civilization has been evolved in the last several decades, if not centuries. And then with the changing landscape today, where people are moving towards coffee and a lot of young generation delving around coffee, and they're coffee first people than this being chai first people, and also a lot of working professionals like us who have transformed into coffee drinkers for functionality use per se. So combining those two factors is coffee on the go, coffee meeting the daily lifestyle product, and understanding how chai has been consumed over the decades, where somebody will come to a particular chai joint or a chai station, will have chai, chit chat for a couple of minutes, and then keep going is what we have transformed that into coffee. And that's how our decks, which essentially, as I said, our outlets, act as in the society wherever we are located today across Delhi and Bombay.
Now, the funding, I understand, is expected to triple the valuation of the company to $15 million in less than 6 months. Is that accurate? Can you share any details on the valuations?
Oh, well, that's a tricky topic to comment on. I'll refrain myself to comment on the valuation. I'll request you to please consider my sincere apologies on that. What we have always looked at is not on the valuation. What we have looked at is actually value creation. So we still continue to do the same. We believe that building the right business in the right way, and also not hurrying into something, because we're not building a company for the next 2, 3, 5 years. We're not building a 100, 200, 500 outlet company. We're building a 10,000 outlet company to be spread across the country, which will be there in the next several decades. So we're patient about it. What we have done is effective utilization of the capital, being very disciplined and efficiently deploying it in a way that generates better returns for our stakeholders, and also at the same time making sure that we're expanding fast enough to be reaching to more neighborhoods as per our guest demands. That's the comment I could make on that.
Now, that's fair. I understand, won't really probe, but how many outlets are you operating at present? Which cities are they concentrated in? What about the sourcing of the coffee beans? How do you plan to grow your outlet count?
Quite a wide spectrum, Avanne. Great question. So currently we are 29 outlets located across Delhi and Bombay, out of which 22 are in Bombay and 7 are in Delhi. We are opening another 11 outlets in the next 4 weeks across Delhi and Bombay again. The outlets are profitable. We are a bit positive across cumulatively all our outlets. That has been the core in terms of how we have been built the business in the last 22 months. In terms of sourcing of beans, we get our beans from Chikmagalur, which is one of the leading farm states, coffee estates in the country. there's a particular type of coffee bean, particular way of coffee bean that we actually source and the way we roast it. The idea being that it should match the Indian palate, the Masi Indian palate. And we have been consistent with that in the last 2 harvest seasons as well. And we plan to do the same in this harvest season, which is just ongoing as we speak.
Sure, and if you could give us a sense as to whether or not you're making money, per outlet that you currently own. Are you EBITDA break even? What's the outlook when it comes to your revenue projections? If you can share some of those details.
Avanne, again, on the front of financial projection, I think it'll be too early to comment because we're just closing the March financials. But on an overall level, as I said, the corporate profitability is something that comes with time, and that's what we have been striving to. As of now, what we look at is unit economics and the outlet level, which we have achieved from very early on, and we're sticking to that particular aspect. Happy to comment on more on the financials in a couple of weeks' time, and that will be more solidified and concrete to talk about it.
And what about the overall competitive intensity? Because one can't deny that there are a lot of players out there that are cropping up time and again, specialty coffee especially. There are well-established players as well within this space. How are you looking to stand out in the crowd?
Right, Avanne. So there are two ways to look at it, right? And that has been the story even when I started almost 2 years back, coming from a completely different background of oil and gas, coming into F&B and specifically coffee. You're absolutely right. If you look at it from the outside, the market is pretty staggered, right? So it's pretty staggered, pretty competitive, pretty crowded. And then when you look at it, there are likes of cafe-oriented companies. And most of the India has been like that, right? So it has a lot of companies will pitch that they sell coffee and something, while the reality is it's and something and coffee. What I mean by that is a lot of people consume coffee because and go to particular companies because when they want to have something on the side, they will want to have coffees, right? So this is where our positioning is completely different, Avanne. What we have done is we're a coffee first company, we're a product first company. What we do is premium Indian specialty coffees. Concept has been clear. You do the coffees which is best, sourced in a way which is one of the best in the countries, which has been the reason why we are the highest rated coffee company by customers on any customer delivery aggregator or review platforms in the country today in a span of 22 months. And that has come up a very simple reason: deliver the right product at right prices, because that's what we believe gets to the masses. And coffee is a ritual building, habit building product. If you get it right on those two aspects, it becomes a ritual, and the repeat rate is incredible. And that defines why repeat rate is almost above 61%, has been consistent over the last several months for these factors that I just talked about, and differentiates us in the market.
All right, good to have you on board. Thanks so much for joining in.